every defense contractor working. Last year, the House and the Senate's NDAA included my bipartisan Transparency in Contract Pricing Act with Senators Ernst, Slotkin, and Grassley, and it would implement the IG's recommendation. Unfortunately, it was removed in conference, and the reason I'm asking you about this and asking you for support is we want to try to get this across the finish line, and I'd just like your help on that. Well,
Senator, I'll take a look at that, and I will definitely get back to you if we have any suggestions there. But I will. I mean, I won't mince words here. That we support any help from the Congress to get improved access to data rights. To be honest, that's one of my biggest concerns is data right access and those sorts of things. But happy to work with the committee on that.
Let's pick up on data because I agree with you. Let's do this one and try to get it across. But one of the things that's happening is that defense contractors monopolize their repairs by improperly labeling repair data as proprietary, even when the Air Force had rights to the data, and then banking on it being too hard for DOD to catch the mistake in how they had labeled it. RAND found that Boeing's inappropriate restrictive markings on software prevented the Air Force from repairing the KC-46 itself or contracting with somebody else to do it. So let me just
subscribe. God bless you. Welcome back, fellow patriots. This is your channel name, where we cut through the leftist nonsense and fight for America first every single damn day. Today, we're reacting to another classic Senate circus show, this time featuring none other than Massachusetts Socialist Senator Elizabeth Warren going after our defense contractors in a hearing with Air Force Secretary Troy Mink. The title says it all. Contractors are trying to trick us. Warren presses Air Force Secretary on defense companies upcharging. Oh boy, here we go again. Grab your coffee, patriots, because this one is a masterclass in Democrat hypocrisy, government waste, and why we need real leadership in Washington. Listen to this. Warren starts off blaming President Trump's actions. Yes, she drags Trump into it, saying his war with Iran is raising prices for the Pentagon. First of all, let's get something straight. Strong leadership under Trump deters enemies and protects American interests. Weakness under the previous administration invited chaos. But here comes Pocahontas, twisting everything to attack American companies that build the weapons keeping our sons and daughters safe. Warren is grilling the Air Force Secretary about defense contractors supposedly upcharging and tricking the government on parts. She brings up ridiculous examples like a simple pressure door handle on a C-5 that supposedly costs way too much. She wants right to repair policies so the military can fix things themselves instead of going through contractors. Now, as a right-wing patriot who believes in a strong national defense, secure borders, and fiscal responsibility, let me give you my honest take.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. President Trump's war with Iran has raised prices across country and around the world, and this means higher prices for the Pentagon as well. Sometimes those price hikes will be a direct consequence of the war, like the rising cost of jet fuel, as Senator Kaine discussed this morning. But it also creates a big opportunity for defense contractors to sneak in extra price hikes to pad their profits with American taxpayers. The Air Force has experienced this price gouging firsthand. The Department of Defense's Inspector General found that Boeing charged the Air Force more than a fair and reasonable price for 1 out of every 4 spare parts that the Air Force bought, including charging 80 times more than the commercially available cost for a plain old soap dispenser. And for anyone who wants to do the math on that, that's, for example, a $10 soap dispenser that now costs $800 when the Air Force buys it. Now, the IG recommended requiring Boeing and other contractors to notify the Air Force of any price increases above 25%. Secretary Mink, would it be easier for the Air Force to keep costs under control if companies had to affirmatively disclose when prices shoot up by more than 25%?
So Senator, I'm not familiar with the specific number you quoted, but we do have, in many of our contracts, we do have requirements to, matter of fact, they can't raise prices. Matter of fact, as we go to many of the fixed price contract structures, multi-year fixed price contract structures, the contractor is not allowed to raise costs.
I
So yes.
appreciate that you put that in some contracts, but I'm actually asking a somewhat different question, if I can, and that is, what is the baseline for every defense contractor working? Last year, the House and the Senate's NDAA included my bipartisan Transparency in Contract Pricing Act with Senators Ernst, Slotkin, and Grassley, and it would implement the IG's recommendation. Unfortunately, it was removed in conference, and the reason I'm asking you about this and asking you for support is we want to try to get this across the finish line, and I'd just like your help on that.
Well, Senator, I'll take a look at that, and I will definitely get back to you if we have any suggestions there. But I will. I mean, I won't mince words here. That we support any help from the Congress to get improved access to data rights. To be honest, that's one of my biggest concerns is data right access and those sorts of things, but happy to work with the committee on that.
Let's pick up on data because I agree with you. Let's do this one and try to get it across. But one of the things that's happening is that defense contractors monopolize their repairs by improperly labeling repair data as proprietary, even when the Air Force had rights to the data, and then banking on it being too hard for DOD to catch the mistake in how they had labeled it. RAND found that Boeing's inappropriate restrictive markings on software prevented the Air Force from repairing the KC-46 itself or contracting with somebody else to do it. So let me just ask you on that one, Secretary Mink. Would rules incentivizing contractors to provide accurate markings allow the Air Force to repair aircraft both faster and improve readiness?
Any help to support right to repair, I think is the broader term that we use, and access to data rights is a big part of that, is, okay, yes, is important.
Good. I'm trying to get us in as much detail as we can here. You know, this committee has heard from senior military leaders across the services that they need right to repair. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit a letter from Senator Sheehy and I that we sent to this committee collecting that testimony for the record.
Is there objection? Without objection,
okay,
it will be submitted and received.
Okay, and I just want to do one more quickly if I can, because big contractors are trying to trick us by offering an alternative to right to repair called data as service, which is really pay-per-view. And it's a module that keeps the big contractors in control. The Air Force knows how unsustainable that model is. When it wanted to access the repair manual for the AC-130J, Lockheed Martin charged the Air Force $900 per page just to look at the repair manual. So tackling the broken contracting around sustainment and pricing would be transformative for our readiness. The GAO has found that obtaining needed technical data could save billions of dollars just for ship sustainment. Extending that to the Air Force's programs could be huge. The Air Force has already found that making its own C5 pressure door handle could cut costs for that by 95%. So I look forward to working with the chairman and the ranking member to try to get more of this into our NDAA and all the way through and signed into law. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you. Thank you much, Senator Warren. And you were able to talk long.
Yes, we should hate waste. Every single taxpayer dollar wasted on overpriced parts is money stolen from American families. But here's the thing Warren and her leftist friends will never admit. The real problem isn't greedy defense contractors. It's the bloated, corrupt, bureaucratic swamp in Washington that creates these insane rules in the first place. These contractors operate under mountains of government regulations, environmental mandates, DI nonsense, union protections, and endless oversight that drives costs through the roof. When you add compliance costs, inflation from reckless Democrat spending, and supply chain disasters caused by globalist policies, of course things get expensive. Warren wants to force right to repair and more government control. Patriots, this is the same woman who wants to break up big companies, tax everything that moves, and turn our military into a social experiment. Now she wants the government to play mechanic on billion-dollar fighter jets. What could possibly go wrong? We've seen what government-run maintenance looks like. Look at the disaster with our ships, our vehicles, our aircraft readiness rates under years of Democrat neglect. Military readiness plummeted under Biden-Harris. Planes couldn't fly, ships couldn't sail. Now they're acting shocked that parts cost money? Let me be very clear. American defense companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, they employ hundreds of thousands of American workers, drive innovation, and keep us ahead of China and Russia. China is stealing our tech, building up their military at breakneck speed, and Warren wants to tie the hands of the companies that keep us number one. This is classic leftist strategy. Demonize private industry, expand government control, and pretend they're protecting taxpayers. Meanwhile, they waste trillions on illegal immigrants, green new scams, and foreign aid while our troops get second-rate equipment. Secretary Mink seemed to play along a bit with Warren's questions, talking about cost and readiness. I get it, he's in a tough spot. But patriots, we need secretaries who tell Congress the truth. Stop the regulatory madness. Cut the red tape. Reward companies that deliver on time and under budget with fixed-price contracts. Stop sole-source sweetheart deals for politically connected firms and open it up to real competition. Trump understood this. During his first term, he pushed for better deals, exposed waste, and rebuilt our military. We need that energy back, not more hearings where Elizabeth Warren pretends to be a fiscal hawk while voting for every bloated spending bill that comes across her desk. This hearing exposes the deeper rot. The military-industrial complex has problems, but the solution isn't more socialist oversight from people who hate the military except when they can use it for their social agendas. The solution is America First leadership that demands excellence, punishes waste, and puts war-fighting capability above everything else. Patriots, if you're tired of Washington grifters like Elizabeth Warren using our national security as a political prop, smash that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we're exposing this garbage daily. Drop a comment below. Should we audit every defense contract with a fine-tooth comb? Or do you agree the real enemy is big government bureaucracy? Share this video with every veteran, every patriot, and every freedom-loving American you know. We need to demand real reform, streamlined procurement, fixed-price contracts, massive deregulation, and zero tolerance for price gouging, but also zero tolerance for politicians who weaken our defenses. This is what America First looks like. Strong military, strong industry, strong borders, and no more excuses. God bless our troops. God bless our defense workers. And God bless the United States of America. I'll see you in the next video. Stay vigilant, patriots.